Hey, Shook. Hey. You up in here bright and shiny, like I like it. Okay, yes, okay. I was just looking at the moon cycle, right? Trying to see exactly what time tomorrow the moon peaks, because I thought it was at 6:56, but it's 6:57. So I was only like off 1 minute or whatever. But yes, today we are going to talk about the solar plexus. Okay, so y'all get ready. We're gonna talk about it. We're gonna pull cards on it. I posted some things for you guys to view about the solar plexus. If you were paying attention to Patreon this morning, I put that up, right? And it had like multiple things. So we're going to talk about that. But first, we're going to start with getting some energy from the solar plexus singing bowl. Okay, this energy, this frequency that we're about to listen to is to raise our vibration. It's also to help and let you understand that this is another form and another way for you to work with your solar plexus. And we're going to talk about today some other things in reference of working with your solar plexus. Okay, I have the light on over my bar instead of the big light, and I may turn the big light on because it's kind of like it makes it like a hazy look, right? So I'm not sure if Melissa was saying something on. Okay, yes, she said something on the thing. I'm not sure what she stated. But so basically we're going to do that tonight, ladies, in reference of the shadow work. Okay, so this came to me in reference of us doing the shadow work sessions. I did a new shadow work sessions, you guys. If you haven't checked it out yet, go to the big channel. It's called Shadow Work Sessions, which used to be one of my old well, I'm not gonna say old, but I've been doing it for a while with those videos with the shadow work sessions, and I got away from shadow work sessions, y'all know, right? So I haven't done a shadow work session in probably like over a year. So today, I did one this past time on embracing your dark side, right? So being that was what we have been focusing on, the solar plexus goes with that, right? The solar plexus goes with that. When I say it goes with that, I mean you basically are dealing with your self-worth, your self-confidence, your personal power, right? So being able to balance, have that in balance is also a part of your solar plexus, right? It's confidence, right? It's being able to go after what you want. You know what I mean? And so that's what we're going to talk about tonight. So let's go ahead and get a little bit of the energy highlighted, right? In reference of our solar plexus. This is my solar plexus singing bowl. I've been using it a lot, right? Because it was one of the ones that I really wanted, because I always want to work on my solar plexus, because that's what gives you the confidence and the courage to move forward with whatever you may want to do. Okay, so let's listen and do some breath work while you listening to it, because that's another form of working. Hey, it's okay. Hey, welcome, Melissa. But it's another way of you working with your solar plexus as well. Okay, so let's go ahead. I'm going to ring the solar plexus bell for us, play it for us, and I'm sorry, bowl. And I want you to breathe in and out, because it's kind of hard for me to say it at the same time when I'm trying to do it. And remember, the solar plexus is what's right under your abdomen. Okay, it's like right in here. All right. So and I'm gonna talk more about that, but let's just get to the singing bowl. Thank you, ancestors. So it's very strong, right? It was very strong in reference of the vibration. It was moving a little bit because it's on this top of this counter. But very strong energy in reference of the solar plexus. I would suggest that you guys get you a bowl for the solar plexus and work with your solar plexus, if anything. Also, the root. I actually like all three of those that are like your main ones. If you could get like at least 3 or 4 singing bowls to work with constantly, you have to be consistent with them to really feel the energy radiate through your body as well. I suggest maybe like 2 or 3 times a week is really what I've been trying to do. But the solar plexus is a really good one. The heart chakra is like a must. The root chakra is one that is a must. Okay. And if all fails, get you a Tibetan bowl. That helps with all types of chakras. Okay. So, and the throat chakra is a good one too. Now, if you're in a relationship or you're dealing in reference of relationship, sexual tension, energy, and so forth, of you had some sexual traumas or something like that, the sacral chakra bowls is perfect for you to get. Okay. And I do, we're going to talk about that, and I'm going to showcase some things that I learned in reference of using the sacral chakra. Okay. But we'll do that a different day. So, that was our energy in reference of the solar plexus that we started out with, family. And I'm excited about that energy flowing through today. Now, let's get started talking about the solar plexus. I did bring 2 decks down, family, so we can pull a little bit if we have questions about what we really, truly, how we feel, because I'm going to ask you guys some questions in reference of your solar plexus and how you feel about your solar plexus, right? And so, first thing I want to talk about is the information I sent you guys, right? So I did send you guys, it was talking about your balance characteristics of the solar plexus, right? So I basically it lists out a lot of different things for you guys, but I'm going to talk about some of the notes that I have in my phone in reference of the solar plexus. The solar plexus is the 3rd chakra, okay? And it is about your personal power. It's about building your strong sense of self. Like I said, being acceptance of yourself, knowing your self-worth, right? Having confidence, having courage, and being able to walk strong and being confident in what you want to do, being able to listen to your gut, right? Trusting your instinct, having discernment, right? All those things are based off of your solar plexus. It says here that the solar plexus is also known as the Manipura chakra. That's a Sanskrit way of saying solar plexus chakra. Okay, so you may see it written that way, or you may hear other people call it that as well. Okay. A lot of people that deal with Hinduism, Buddhism, all those things, they refer to it as the Manipura chakra. Okay. But it's the energy center that is the ability to keep us confident, assertive, and make decisions from a place of inner wisdom. And so when you think of us out actually doing our shadow work, that's one of the things that we want to tap into, right? We want to be able to make sound decisions. I know I do. And I want to come from a place of being confident in making decisions, right? A lot of times I can say one of the examples of me needing to do shadow work on with my solar plexus has been in reference of me not being confident in some of the decisions that I have made. But that's based off of experience of decisions that I've made and not listening to my instinct, not listening to my gut when it was saying, don't do it. And then I wind up doing it and it was haywire, or it wind up being a tower moment, right? That's not listening to your gut. That's letting you know that you weren't aligned in your solar plexus, right? It's also in reference of, I did make me some tea, y'all. But it's also, where it'll show you that your solar plexus may be out of balance. Okay. And when your solar plexus is out of balance, it's very easy for you to make decisions and them not being something that's going to serve your highest good. And that's something we want to get away from. It's not that we want to be perfect or that we will never make mistakes, but it's where we want to limit the mistakes that we've made in the past, right? You know how it's like breaking a cycle, no longer wanting to be in that same pattern of things happen constantly and constantly. We asking ourselves, well, why does this keep happening to me? Why is this, well, some of that is dependent on your solar plexus being out of balance and you actually not being able to make sound decisions or being very confident on your decisions that you make. You see? And so it says here, it's about unlocking your personal power. It is. It's about unlocking your personal power. That personal power with all of your chakras, family. I always tell you guys, it's about having them all really balanced out. But you know what? As we have talked about several times, it takes practice makes perfect, right? You're not going to be able to do it at the drop of a dime. You're not going to be able to do this just like off of one session of doing either singing bowl or meditating or however you want to work with your chakras. It takes time, okay? So during that time, you have to be good. You have to be good to yourself. You have to be kind to yourself. You have to understand and be patient, right? Have patience with yourself like other people have patience with you and how you have patience with other people. You see, that's another part of it. And so with the solar plexus, what I was reading, they said, we experience feelings of insecurity, self-doubt, and the lack of direction in life. Okay. And so with that, because solar plexus energy is fire element. Okay. Understand that, right? So a lot of my fire signs, that's why some of them, they may have they have an overacting solar plexus where they're too confident. I know, okay, like I told my son that one time, and he was like, Mom, there's no such thing as being too confident. But I got a double Leo that I got on my hands. So he is like confident to the dang on, he's like confident, he's headstrong, he, sometimes that can come off, like I tell him, that can come off arrogant, you know what I'm saying? But I was reading and studying, that's called being overly, your solar plexus is used overly, like you're too much into the solar plexus. Because see, you can get out of balance in either or. You know what I'm saying? In your chakras, you can get them out of balance too. Not being less, because the less is what we always talk about, but being over sometimes, right? That's when that ego kick in to you, being out of balance. So that kind of give you an example of even my own child, showcasing where it's like overly. And we're going to talk about that too, right? But the solar plexus, it spreads the fire element throughout the body, okay? And think about it. Yeah, excessive. But think about it. When you are excited about something, you know what you know, because you know you're going to be able to do it. You got that confidence. You got that courage. You know what I'm saying? You know your self-worth. You like, I'm not going to go for nothing but this. That's you having that fire in what they consider called fire in your belly. That's solar plexus. That's solar plexus, basically. So when you don't feel that, that's when you're depressed, come on, anxiety. That's when your solar plexus is out of balance. That's just a keen way for you to be able to identify. Because remember, I always try to give you guys ways to identify either your solar plexus is out of balance or you may be using it excessively, okay? So I wanted to start out with you guys being able to recognize that. But when the solar plexus is balanced, you will feel confident too, right? It's not going to be a question in it. You know what I mean? Like, okay, say for instance, like with my business, right? I feel confident in certain products or certain things that I may do. I feel confident in certain readings. I feel confident in certain, services, whatever it may be. You know what I'm saying? But then some services I may feel, not confident, or I may get a product and may not feel that confident in it because I don't know how it's going to do. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of like when you know. That's why I said that, right? And so it says also here that you are self-motivated and you have sense of purpose when your solar plexus is balanced. Yes, okay. You definitely feel motivated, you feel inspired, okay? That's when your solar plexus is completely balanced. Oh, that was the from the incense. So, if you feel, it says if you feel low, negative energy or experiencing control issues. Now, I wanted to deep dive on this because in our shadow work, a lot of us, when we're journaling, I know I do, because y'all know I do a lot of my journaling towards my shadow work. I do a lot of journaling and meditating. But sometimes I have to ask for assistance even with control issues, okay? But that's a part of my solar plexus being out of balance. You know what I'm saying? Just like when I got my messages from the ancestors with Miss T, if you're in my spiritual family, or if you know you not in the spiritual family segment of Undisputed Truths page, because not everybody that'll see this may not be. But my messages came back yesterday from the ancestors about me having control and not excessively listening and watching things that are like too cussing too much, not obsessively watching things that aren't good for me. Those type of things came out. But that is a control issue. I need to be able to control that because I'm so used to doing things on a routine basis. Like I may sit at my desk and work and listen to the gossip. That's just what I do. You know what I'm saying? Or I may go and listen to a few spiritualists, and some of them, they questionable. Some of them I did on here, some of them I did the readings on, a lot of them, just to see, you know what I'm saying? And but yeah, so those things come back, but that's a control issue. That's me having to have control. So today I tried to have control and shift the energy and watch something different. Give my mind a break from those things. Even though I may not be on social media too much, like IG too much, I try to take my breaks. I'm in and out of there, but I gotta maybe just push back. That's what the ancestors is letting me know. But that's a part of having self-control. You see, that's me. Excuse me. That's a part of me working on my solar plexus. I had soup for my yes. Happy birthday, Teresa. But I had soup for my dinner tonight. You know what I'm saying? So, and so, yeah. So basically that's what that is, right? Family, is you having control. Or you experiencing control issues, you do want to work on your solar plexus. Okay. Yellow is the color for solar plexus. So you can wear yellow when you want to work on your solar plexus, wear yellow, eat yellow things. Some people don't even think about that. Pineapples, okay, is really good in reference of your solar plexus. It says yellow foods, bananas, right? Boom. Lemons, right? Yeah. Solar plexus, family, things that are yellow, things that get you excited, right? With life and there. Think about, hey, Christy, think about you said your issue is discipline, right? And you know what? That's solar plexus, but the discipline is also a part of the control. Don't forget my mango. Mango. Hello, my girl. I love mango too. Mangoes is the bomb. Okay. Hey sis. Okay. And I'm not right. But discipline, retired and now have no discipline or anything. Right. But that's self-control. So you know what that means, right? That means that you're going to have to now have the courage and the confidence in yourself and stop saying that you don't have discipline. Say that I just lack the confidence in doing what I need to do right now, because you can do whatever you want to do. You know, discipline is about free will. See? But we'll talk about that on another one. But that's a good one right there. But that is part of the issue too. But working on your solar plexus is a part of that, okay? So I'm going to talk about some of what I researched with the solar plexus, okay? Because listen, One thing about us learning about the solar plexus, it is a very, very vital thing for us to know and be able to recognize and work with our solar plexus, okay? The solar plexus is the upper abdomen in the stomach area, family. It's about what it controls is our self-worth, like I said. Also self-esteem. Because if you don't have, if you have low self-esteem, you need to work on your solar plexus, okay? And like I said, the things that can cause you to have low self-esteem is experiences to me, right? Like if you experience someone speaking down on you all the time, abuse, right? Like abusive behavior towards you, that can cause you to be not confident, right? And your self-esteem to go low. Also, not being confident and not feeling like you have things under control, right? That can cause you to make you feel low self-esteem as well. Okay. Let me see what else it had here about that low self-esteem, because I really like that that it states that self-esteem is a part of the solar plexus. Yeah. But it's about being balanced, flowing, and feeling confident, empowered. Okay. And just basically feeling that freedom of feeling enlightenment and empowerment, right? Knowing your worth. Um, the renowned Deepak Chopra, whatever his name is, you know, the spiritualist guy. He said, when this center is open and flowing, you are capable of translating your intentions and desires into manifestation. But when it's blocked, you'll feel frustrated and infectual. So it's basically where you won't be able to do things, basically. You know what I'm saying? You'll be blocked. You won't be able to manifest. You may be trying to manifest things now and they're not working in your favor, and you're wondering why, because your solar plexus is blocked. See? And you want to work with yourself to get this taken care of, family, right? Another thing that a natural pathologist doctor said, and a nurse practitioner, her name is Erica Matlock. She said, I pulled an article from her. She said, often we run into problems with our solar plexus when we're carrying a wound of shame. Or so we must move from judgment to worthiness, because a lot of times we judging ourselves. You know what I'm saying? You judge yourself, and then the reflection is other people judge you. See how that works? Because remember, what you're a reflection of what the energy that you receive, right? What you put out is what you receive. It's the same way. That is always the way it's going to be, family. That's why we talked about that and embrace the shadow, because your dark side is your reflection of you. Remember the exercise I told you guys to do at the end. Okay, so it says here, she said, self-acceptance is about identifying all the things we judge ourselves harshly for and welcoming them back in. Okay. She says, adding that all the things we judge others for are a reflection of the parts of ourselves in hiding. I didn't even realize she said that. But yes, that's right. So she said, when the solar plexus is balanced, the digestive system runs smoothly. So some of us with even digestive system, because remember, your emotions and things that happen, mind, body, and soul affect parts of your body, and that is one. It says our thoughts do not limit our potentials either. We can trust and act on our gut instinct and rarely leave emotionally charged conversations feeling sick to our stomach. So basically, it's like you won't have to be worried about not trusting yourself more. You know what I'm saying? Like you'll be more confident in your choices. You'll be more confident in your thoughts. Your perception will allow you to be more balanced in your solar plexus. Okay. So I have some signs of a balanced solar plexus for some of you to kind of know, because some of you may already have a balanced solar plexus, right? It says, this is what's when you know if your solar plexus is balanced. So you trust your gut and you know how to make the right decisions. You feel confident in your choices and actions. You feel empowered and excited about what you're doing. You have strong sense of self-worth, and you're not intimidated by challenges. Okay. Your purpose is clear to you. You accept all parts of yourself, and you are playful, spontaneous, and have a sense of humor. Okay. So that's when you know you're balanced. Solar plexus. This is when you know your solar plexus is unactive. When you feel like a victim of circumstance, you have a weak digestive system, you experience nervous butterflies in your stomach, you experience a upset stomach often, you know, based off of your emotions. You feel chronically fatigued and you feel depressed. Yeah. And remember when I told you guys that my son displayed like an overactive solar plexus? This is what I meant. It says you feel the need to boss people around and control them. That's when you have an overactive solar plexus. You're aggressive, you quick to anger, and you overly competitive or power hungry. And you're selfish, okay, arrogant. All of those things give an overactive solar plexus. So I gave you the underactive, which was the whole thing about the weak stomach and things like that. And I gave you the overactive. So you pull out of those things that I talked about and really recognize which ones that you feel you may have, right? And then when you realize and try to come to agreement with yourself, write it down, you know what I'm saying? And really sit with that, right? And try to figure out exactly which way you can switch that or change that for your good, okay? Now, the solar plexus is also, the crystals for it is the amber and the citrine. Now, the citrine is one of my favorite ones towards the solar plexus because the citrine is definitely one that can help you with your thinking. It can help you in reference of your money as well, abundance, but it can also help you get into balance. Let me see what you guys are saying. I definitely working on my self-esteem daily through self-love, right? That's good. That is good. That is so good, Melissa. Okay, what you say, Christy? I have been told root chakra 100, but I was told solar needs working on it. Yes, solar plexus. I feel like, you know, it's like a shift. Like sometimes we can be overconfident or we can be confident. Or you dreamed of the citrine stone last night? Well, there you go. There might be a sign that it's time for you to work on your solar plexus, right? So, because that's one of the main stones for the solar plexus, because solar plexus is yellow. But what I read when I was studying about the solar plexus is that it will change your aura to gold, like a golden, when you know that your solar plexus is high. And that makes sense. Think about it. When you radiate, they always say you got a glow, right? That's when your solar plexus is high, is like, you know, balanced, right? That's when you know that you're confident, you have courage, your self-esteem is good, you know your self-worth, you know what it is in reference of self-acceptance to things, right? And so that made sense to me. I was like, oh yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Okay. So you may ask, because I always ask this even to myself, and then we'll pull some cards around the solar plexus, right? But how do we balance it? What's the solutions, right? How do we balance our solar plexus if it's overactive or if it's underactive, or if we just out of balance all the way around, right? Towards all the things we've discussed. And so the first thing I read was that we basically have to, start with either the meditation, which is always going to be number one, right? But they have the meditations online. I use citrine to calm my eye spasms. Okay. You see what I'm saying? Citrine is bomb. Okay. But you can use meditation. Now, when you use the solar plexus meditation, they have the ones that they play, that you can play on YouTube. You can listen to those, but at the same time, doing breath work. Now, they have two forms of breath work two forms of breathing techniques that really work for the solar plexus. One is called doing just the breath work, like how we were doing with the singing bowl, right? where you're just breathing in and breathing out, right? The kind of controlling your breathing patterns to calm you down, calm your mind, and also allow that radiating frequency of music. Either you're listening or you're playing your singing bowl, whichever way you want to do it. But then there's another name called pranayama. That's breath control. And there's this one man, I can't remember his name now, but he does it real good. And it may seem funny, but it's like, it works. He was like, you know, like real quick. He has like this routine of how to do breath control. And that helps with the solar plexus. So you may want to look it up. It's called pranayama, pranayama. Is breath control, but it's a specific pattern, a specific purpose of breathing to relieve and help your solar plexus. Okay. You have a choice of doing that because it's called like, well, they consider it being called the breath of fire. And it's essential, rapid, continuous breathing throughout the nostrils and the mouth. And the inhale and exhale are equal in length with no pause between them. So it's a 2 to 3 cycle seconds. And here you do it like sitting down. And I told you, it's a guy that's famous on YouTube that does it like, and it helps for your solar plexus. Because I've actually done it a few times, right? I think it was Queen Poe that had brought that to my attention at one time, right? And so, yeah. So that's one. I told you guys about the crystals: citrine, pyrite, amber, yellow jasper, yellow tourmaline, tiger's eye, one of our favorites, amber, as I told you guys, agate, sunstone, and yellow quartz. All of those are the crystals that you can use, you know, to help get you back in balance with your solar plexus. Okay, utilize that by putting it there, holding the crystal on your solar plexus, doing your breath work, playing your singing bowl, meditate with it there while you visualize yourself. You know what the best way to visualize in solar plexus meditations, family? Visualize yourself going through a list of things that you need to do. That's one thing that the solar plexus always is about, you being confident of getting things done, right? So think of yourself, maybe even, you know, if you write yourself a list and just picture it in your mind. Another thing I think about with solar plexus meditation is use your crystal, put it there, but also think about a nice radiating place with the sun, because the solar plexus is like the color of the sun. You know, it's all about the yellow and the golds. So really put that in your mind about the sun, the energy of the sun. You know what I mean? And then the next solution to, so I gave you meditation, gave you some visualizations of meditations to do, and using your crystals, okay, breath work and breath control, but also a ritual bath for solar plexus, right? So the ritual bath for solar plexus, family, you would use your normal, you know, spiritual baths, but you could also add in grenadium. Now, if you guys remember, I had grenadium on my website, and I had it in one of the boxes, I want to say. I think it was summer solstice, right? Which was about the sun, remember? So grenadium, ginger, okay, mint, and you can use your crystals. Those are the things, you know, the essential oil was definitely grenadium. Okay, so that's what you consider a solar plexus bath. You sit, do your breath work in there, relax, and that ritual bath is done. You can say some affirmations, which I put up, you know, some of the affirmations. So if you have that already screenshotted, you do the bath with the grenadium essential oil and the ginger in it if you want to, and that's, you know, basically it. Now, affirmations: I am enough. This goes back to your solar plexus affirmations around your self-worth, right? I am enough. I am worthy. I am capable. I am powerful. I say that one a lot. I have that up on my thing. I am confident. Okay. I can do anything I put my intentions to. That's a good one. I can do anything I put my intentions into. I love that. Right. And so you want to do those affirmations, okay? And if you can, find you some mudras to do while you're doing them. You know, those are the hand gestures, whether it's like this, like that, like this, you know, whatever the hand gestures are that goes with the solar plexus, you can utilize those as well, okay? So the main thing I want you to understand is the solar plexus. We have to tackle that within our shadow work because we need to become more confident. We need to be more courageous. We need to be more conscious of our self-worth. We need to have high self-esteem. We need to hold our heads high, even when it feels like it's something that, you know, is challenging. Okay. Go in it headstrong. Know that you have the ancestors and the Most High behind you to make anything happen for you, and get that connection where you, when you're meditating, you thinking about those things, bring the ancestors in with you. Okay. Do get clever with it, right? Do those things. So let's ask the ancestors what else we need to know around the solar plexus for the collective here. Okay. And I'll pull some cards. Anybody have some questions in reference of the solar plexus, or you may want to say something around what you've experienced around the solar plexus? You know, we're open here, honey, because we want to talk about it. And look, the light just was on the bottom of the deck. That's the sun. Yeah. Yeah, we definitely love our solar plexus to be balanced, right? Definitely. Yeah, the root chakra, Christy, is always where you want to start, right? Because the root chakra is about your security, about your it's about your protection, it's about your foundation, it's about the root, right? It's about all of that. And when that's out of balance, everything is out of balance, because that's the beginning, right? Yeah. Okay, so first things first, I want to ask the ancestors about the solar plexus and why we have to feel that we need control, right? So much over the things that we can't control. And what is it with the solar plexus, with the collective that's here, that we need to focus on, or what we can actually give us some solutions, or give us some direction, some encouragement, some inspiration, give us some motivation even around the solar plexus that we need to work on here as the collective ancestors. That's what I want to ask. Solar plexus for the collective ancestors. Give us some type of guidance around the solar plexus. Okay, fear. Trapped in fear. Trapped in fear. Fear. That's what it is, family. The 8 of Swords, right? Trapped in fear. Being more confident. You keep getting sacral and solar plexus need to be aligned. Yeah, me too. That's why I wanted to work on that with you guys as well, because remember, I go towards what I'm experiencing, because I feel like it may resonate with the collective, and most of the time it does. See, Tantalus just said it. That's why you probably was dreaming about citrine, because citrine is the main crystal for solar plexus. So that may have been another confirmation that you need to work with your citrine. Get your citrine, put it here, and do your breath work, do your meditation, calm yourself, right? You may have a either overactive or underactive solar plexus. Remember, the underactive is when you do feel a little down, depressed, your self-worth may not be, where it needs to be, right? So that's when you want to work on your solar plexus, because you're getting all the signs, you're getting all the things that you need to work on your solar plexus, as well as your confidence, right? So this lady did Reiki this summer, told me Capricorn is usually strong solar plexus. She was surprised I was not in balance. I mean, sure, I guess. Yeah. I don't know about, I guess she mean Capricorns are so like, but I don't think of Capricorn. When I think of Capricorns, I don't think of having a, most Capricorns are, but I think of Leos. I think of Leos when I think solar plexus, honey, because they are the most confident sign in the world. All Leos that I know, you know, I feel like they don't really need a lot of confidence or a lot of work on their solar plexus. You know what I'm saying? But I could be wrong. I mean, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? So, okay, so we got the Chariot, which is the Triumph card, number 7, Cancer energy. And then we have the 8 of Swords, the fear, trapped in fear. Ancestors said our solar plexus for some of us is because we're trapped in fear. We're trapped in our mind. We're overly thinking. We're overthinking. We're overthinking trying to get to success when it is red flags that the ancestors is trying to let us know about. See, around success, around being triumph, around that energy of having to have everything perfect. For some of us, we are trapped in fear because of the fear of the unknown. That can also trouble the solar plexus, because not knowing what's next or not knowing what's in front of us makes us not confident about what we're going to have to go up against, right? Also, and that's one of my issues, right? Fear. I told you guys, I always tell you guys that fear was one of the main things that I would have to work on all the time in reference of shadow work, right? And so that's what ancestors is telling us, the 8 of Swords. Now, the 8 of Swords is about your mental as well, right? But it's also about conflict. So, the 8 of Swords is about imprisonment in the mind, right? So I do feel that solar plexus has a lot to do with that, because in that case, some of you are imprisoned in your mind where you don't even accept yourself for who you are. And so therefore you could get a little imprisonment in reference of the mental, your perception. Some of you are still stuck in the past, okay? And that also could be trapped in fear, right? In fear of moving to the present, in fear of what the future has to take, Let's see what Ancestor says about the number 8, trapped in fear, okay? Number 8, and we got 8, which is this is the 8th year too. Ain't that crazy? Wow. And the 8th year is about karma. Some of us are trapped in fear because of some things that are coming back around. That's what Ancestors is kind of saying. This reveals that it's actually your own fear that has you immobilized and trapped, preventing you from making decisions or choices. I just told you and read to you what the solar plexus said, that when you have problems with making decisions and making choices and not listening to your gut, Ancestor said that is the main problem for the collective here. We have a problem with making decisions and choices, okay? You are the one who's holding yourself prisoner or hostage. Or in order to continue your journey, you must first face your fears so that new people and conditions can manifest. This is affecting our manifestations, family. The solar plexus, feeling trapped. You're holding yourself hostage. Some of you holding yourself hostage and prisoner of what the things and the decisions that you've made in the past, where it's really not even been your fault. You see? And the ancestor said it's time for you to, makes sense, right? Yeah. That 8 of Swords. Yes. That 8 of Swords is what we have, and it makes a lot of sense for the solar plexus of what ancestors is trying to tell us. Because I asked, can you give us guidance in reference of our solar plexus issues, right? How can we work with it in reference of our shadow selves, right? Yeah. Many individuals choose to stay in this place because they can't see the road ahead. They feel the misguided sense of a sense of safety there, and they're afraid of starting something new. Some of us are afraid of starting something new. We are. Yeah. But staying will only add to the levels of stress and anxiety and create adverse effects in your physical body. Didn't I tell you guys that it can start affecting your physical body after a while? And you know what? This kind of resonates in reference of some of the decisions that I'm trying to make at this time. But it is like I'm like trapped in fear. You know what I'm saying? So I'm working on this. I'm working on this myself. Seek out wise counsel for assistance if you need it, okay? And you don't have to do this alone, but know that you possess all the tools that you need to free yourself. You're forgetting how strong you really are. That's your self-worth, okay? This period will end when you use your mind to cut through the limitations caused by your emotions. That makes a lot of sense. So let me read the solution. This period for us to end the situation of feeling trapped in fear for our solar plexus, ladies, will end when we use our mind, that's changing our perception from feeling trapped to cutting through the limitations that caused by our emotions, our heart chakra, us having some attachment to things, us having the past that we're still attached to, us being emotionally attached to some things that we can't relieve ourselves from. Okay. Yeah, I just feel this. This is very strong around the solar plexus for us. Yeah. Feeling immobilized. That's feeling trapped. And you know what? That's Saturn energy. We're in Saturn energy. The moon is in Sagittarius or Capricorn, which is the Western. But I feel it being in Sagittarius, family. And I'm going to tell you why. Because Sagittarius moon makes sense for right now for a lot of things that are happening and that are feeling like restriction and a lot of things happening, a lot of chaos. Excuse me, y'all, just ate. A lot of chaos, a lot of destruction happening right now, and a lot of things coming out, right? That's bringing the foundation down because that's Saturn energy. Remember, in our lessons of the zodiacs, right? Saturn is not ruled by Jupiter, but by Saturn. Makes sense. And we're actually in the year of Saturn, right? So that makes sense too. Excuse me. The number 8 is the ruling planet for the number 8 is Saturn. Do you get what I'm saying? And then we get the card about feeling trapped, restricted, bound down, boundaries, right? Immobilized is what the book said. Trapped, preventing ourselves. Some of us are preventing ourselves, but some of us are being prevented by others. Okay? Of being able to make sound choices and decisions. So now, I ask of you to take away from this shadow work session, what is it? Write this down, and I got to write this down myself because I need to sit with myself on this one because everything I tell y'all, listen, I ain't no better, okay? Okay, what is it that makes you feel trapped or immobilized, because we're going to use the same words as they did, right? Makes us feel immobilized, and I write it in my journal when I get upstairs, from making good decisions and choices. Okay, so did y'all get that? Let me reread it back. Okay. So in our solar plexus shadow work session towards our first prompt, it is what is it that makes you feel trapped or immobilized from making good decisions and choices right now? Okay. So, you're going to think about this, just really, I think my creativity is blocked. Well, that is definitely a part of solar plexus because solar plexus is about creativity. It's about being confident. It's about creativity. It's about your self-worth. It's about yourself. All of that is in there. Creativity is definitely one of them. Okay. So ask yourself, what is it that makes you feel trapped or immobilized from making good decisions and choices? And you can spin that, Chrissy, and say, what is it that's making me feel that trapped or immobilized of being creative, right? That's how you could spin it. Ask yourself those questions in your journal, write it down, and really think over it. Meditate over it, contemplate over it, and really ask yourself the questions. Jot down the first things that come to mind. Okay. I have my answer. Seeing other people being so creative is so natural. Where I don't even try. Okay. So you answer your own question. You have your answer. Where I don't even try. So you already know to spark that creativity, right? And guess what? That's the first step to the change, is that you know the answer. Now it's time for you to put action. You see? It's time for you to put action. So what is it now you need to ask yourself to help you spark your creativity? What is it? What can make you excited about starting something new? What are you interested in, right? How do you feel that you want to do it? Like, is there maybe this is how I always start out. You know, I be trying to be creative anyway, because I have to try to be creative in my businesses and stuff, but sit and make you a list. You know, I'm a list person. Take you and get your piece of paper, write out what is going to help me be creative, and how do I get there? Write out a list of things. You know, what do I feel is stopping me from being creative, for trying? What is stopping me from trying, right? To be creative. Start asking yourself this, because you got the answer. You already know that it's watching other people. Well, that's okay. That's good and dandy. But don't worry about other people. Now it's time for you to go. It's your turn, right? And not saying that it's easy. Okay? Not saying that. But you got to get started somewhere. Take the first step, sis, and get started, because God got you. Right. The hard part. Right. Christy said the hard part. Right. The hard part. Right. Okay. Well, you know what? You already got your mind. See how you already got it in your mind that it's the hard part? Shift your way of thinking and say, no, it's the part that I need to get done, and I can do it because I am enough. I am creative. That's what you need to start saying over yourself. You need to say that multiple times over yourself. I am creative. I am creative. I am creative. And allow the ancestors in the Most High to start allowing you to have creativity to flow to you. Ask the ancestors, please, you know, if I'm supposed to be creative in some type of endeavor, bring that to me in some type of, you know, sign, synchronicity, meditation, you know, and shift your words. It's kind of like you speaking negativity already over your creativity. No, it may not be hard. It may come to you easily, but you got to give yourself a chance. You see? Not even giving yourself a chance. Try not to compare yourself to anyone. There you go. I share. Right. That's why I told her, don't speak that over your life. I am creative. It won't be hard. It's not going to be hard for me to be creative. You know, those are the things you want to say to yourself. Speak positivity. She's gonna be the hard part. One more card, ancestors, and we'll wrap it up. We almost at our hour. One more card in reference of our solar plexus. What's crazy is I usually don't, but in that part, why I do. I guess I didn't do much as a child. I was very timid and no one ever pushed me. Okay. Yeah. Excuse me. So you know what that rings out to me? Childhood trauma. See how it ties into that solar plexus? Because now you're not confident, because as a child, it's embedded in your mind that, you know, no one pushed me. No one showed me any attention to be creative, right? And so now you don't even know what that's going to feel like or how it looks, because you feel like you never had that type of encouragement, right? But one thing I'm going to tell you about that is to get out of that inner child, is to face that inner child, right? And sit down with that child that once was this way and that didn't get that love. And you sit there and as if you're sitting there talking to one of your children today, and encourage that child to go get you a coloring book. Sound crazy, don't it? But that's the way to break it. And you sit there and you talk. Even if you got to get in a room by yourself, people think you crazy. That's okay. Because you're going to break this. See? Because the creativeness is in you. But because of childhood trauma, you can't even think about, you see what I'm saying? The hard part. That's what you got in your mind because nobody pushed you and nobody encouraged that child to be creative with even picking up a coloring book and start coloring, love. Be creative. What color do you see the world, right? Go get you a coloring book and start coloring, Suge. That's the start of your creativity. You see that? Mm-hmm. As that child. Because sometimes we got to go back before we can go forward. See? So do that. That's your exercise. Because that right there hit hard. I didn't do much as a child. So that's where it started. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Painting. Painting. If you don't want to color, paint. Yeah. That's another one. But whatever you would want to do as a child in reference of starting that creative boost, think about your own children. How do we get them to be creative? How do we start the children that you have birthed to be creative? Then you take it back when they're going to school or however you want to do it. And you sit there and with that inner child, that young baby Chrissy, and you say, you know what? We're going to get creative today. This is what we're going to do. And you start painting, coloring, whatever you want to do, and let that inner child, let that baby Chrissy mind run wild on whatever creativeness she can bring out on the canvas, on the coloring book, whatever. And you know what you say? Thank God for me and being able to get back to me, right? Because you can be creative, baby, right? That inner child is screaming to be creative because you're comparing yourself to others. You want to be so creative, right? But you didn't have that and you were neglected of that with that inner child. So now we do the work. We go back and we comfort that inner child. We comfort that baby Chrissy and we make sure she's creative. And then that will flow into adulthood. You see? I love you. You make sure you let us know how that works out, okay, babe? Okay, what you say, Melissa? Get some paint and just paint with colors. Yes, exactly. That's how I work with kids to allow them to create. Exactly. Just supplies. Make whatever you like. Exactly, Melissa. That's absolutely right. That's exactly what I was saying. Thank you. I will for sure. I do have paint. Might do a little something. Do it. Do it. Do it. Do it. You sit with that inner child and you let that inner child get that creativeness out and you encourage yourself as if you are that young baby Chrissy and you do what it is that you felt that you wanted to do then. See, that's a piece of us that's broken that has to be mended, you see, because we've carried it into our our adulthood from the child. You see how you said that? And now it's like, I don't even know where to start because I didn't have a chance when I was a baby, you know? Well, now you have the chance. Now is the time, sis. You let us know. There's a big, big lesson for you in solar plexus, right? And it don't even take nothing but you going backwards to your inner child and tapping into that because we always want to do that. Go back to that inner child video I have on either Healing with Keziah or Shadow Work Sessions. I don't know. It's under one of them. It'll help you with your inner child too. Right? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. So that one was good, family. I'm not going to go any further with this deck because that one hit it on the head. And I love that I will pull us one from this this new deck I got called the Archetypes. And but that one was good, Christine. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And thank you, Valissa. We're definitely working through the solar plexus, okay? This was really good in reference of the solar plexus and being able to go backwards and work on that solar plexus, even as a child. Because sometimes we have to sit with that young child that got neglected, that young child that had the abuse See, because sometimes that'll run over into our adulthood and it'll affect our chakras. It'll affect our emotions where we won't want to try to do new things because we never got a chance to do it when we was a child. It's kind of like when they say, you know, when they say, you know, like they say that what's on my bucket list or whatever. Yeah, it's okay, baby. Yeah, it's all right. Sometimes we have to do the ugly cry to get it out. But I guarantee you, when you sit with that baby Chrissy, when you sit with the baby Chrissy, the little baby Chrissy that wanted to be creative but just didn't have a chance, the answer, I got chills. The answer is that things will change for you in life just by sitting there and letting your imagination run wild. And I don't know, answers keep saying a coloring book. You need to get a coloring book. I know we said paint, but go get you some supplies. Whatever that little girl would have wanted, go get that. Go get that. And I know it sounds crazy, but I had to do that before. So I'm speaking from experience, right? Yeah. Big hugs. We love you. Sometimes you got to let it out because it'll clog us in the present if we don't, you know. Last card instance is outcome message in reference of our solar plexus. Please, for the collective here, we just want one last outcome message in reference of our solar plexus. Encouragement, inspiration, motivation in reference of us working with and dealing with our solar plexus. Woo! Visionary. Yes. Ooh, and I like that. And it's got like the sun. It looks like Saturn. Look at that. See that, y'all? It's a yellow one, too. I can't make this up. And let me see. Oh, my God. As sister said, look at what's here. God. I got to turn the light on so y'all can see this. Hold on. Because it's kind of like a glare sometimes when that one's on. Look what came out, y'all. Let me show y'all what came out. Look. I don't know if y'all can see. Let me see. Put this on. God. And this one is visionary. See that? Yeah. What you say? I'm considered creative, but surely color in my adult coloring book. Yes, I love coloring, right, Melissa? Yes, ma'am. I do. So relaxing. I do too. And then it takes me back to my childhood, right? Because sometimes we need that. Sometimes we have to go to our inner child because it has been abused for some of us, neglected, right? Confused, right? And sometimes it's us going backwards, family, to move forward, right? So I love that, Melissa. I love that. Yes, girl. Okay, so let me read this and we'll get out of here. Capacity to envision what is not yet conceivable to others. The willingness to proclaim a vision without regard for personal gain. A visionary. Some of you are visionaries, okay? And Essence is the same with this. It's all about you actually taking the time and envisioning what you actually feel you can't conceive, but you can. That's you having that self confidence is again. See, she got the world in her hands. It's about you guys being visionaries and seeing things from a different outlook and knowing that you have God with you. Look, God came right out. Benevolence and compassion, recognizing the eternal force within yourself and others. I love that. God, stand up. And sisters came right on through for y'all. You see? So God is with you guys, okay, guiding you. That's a confirmation that God is with you, guiding you, making sure that everything is here for you, you know, even in reference of what you feel you can't do, you can do it, right? You got to be confident, work on your solar plexus. And I'm telling you guys, working on the chakras, working on yourself is going to make you feel amazing, okay? I love you guys. I love you, Christy. I love you, Melissa and Tantalus. I don't know who else is in here because I can only see them on the chat. But if anybody else is here, I love you guys too for being here. Even the ones that watch it afterwards. Work on your solar plexus, and I hope you were able to gain something out of it all. Love you, Shug. Something out of it all, right? And I love you through the darkness to the light. And I'll see you guys in the next shadow work sessions. Hopefully you understand now how to work on your solar plexus, right? I love you guys. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.